Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Leo. Know that energy is fluid, so just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, if you're new to my channel, welcome again, and know that anything of any relevance to the channel, anything that's of any importance, such as important links, website link, Patreon link, other YouTube channel links, you can find in the description box. And you can always find if I'm giving away something, which every day that I do a video, I'm giving away something, whether that's an opportunity to win a free psychic reading with me, or whether I'm giving away a free oracle deck. Again, always, you have to enter to win is what I'm getting at. The directions will always be in the description box. So whatever special of the day is what I'm getting at. So today, if you land on this video, you like it, then again, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and you would need to write the word compassion in your description box. Today, that's going to be the word. The other day it was love. The other day it was manifestation. Well, I'll know whether or not you, again, want to enter into winning a free reading if you write that word. And you'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath. If I did, all you need to do is we need to figure out a time that works best for both of us to jump on to do a reading for you. All readings are done live stream so that, it's not just beneficial for me or the person that wins the reading, but actually anyone that resonates with the reading. All right, now without further ado, let's see what's going on with Leo. I'm going to open up using my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer deck. If you're interested in purchasing this deck, you can find the link below the video and also in the description box. This deck comes with a oracle book, and the oracle book has over 100 different healing exercises in it. It also has it also helps you develop your psychic abilities more. It helps you with meditation or reflection practices. It's specifically made for healing the shadow aspects of ourselves, and it's titled under transpersonal psychology. So it allows you to, again, transcend the limitations of your ego, which helps us to integrate spiritual wounds. All right. Like to look at the spiritual energy first, because it allows us to see why people are doing certain things, why certain people's actions and behaviorisms are what they are. Inferiority. Leo, I'm kind of feeling like you've dated a bunch of people that you try and put in 100%. You try and treat people the way that you want to be treated. And what winds up happening is you always get the short end of the stick. You feel inferior because of that. But I want you to know you wouldn't have that wound if it wasn't there before. The people that you date, again, even this past person that you dated, malicious. Yeah, like I feel like you grew up in an environment with a parent that wasn't nice, that tried to keep you down, that you inherited family karma. And a lot of times when we inherit family karma, it doesn't mean that our parent means to be mean to us. It means that they need healing. So they get triggered a lot by their children. And so the children wind up inheriting the behaviorisms. And in this particular instance, you feel inferior. And inferior is like, comes from feeling not good enough, not having enough, not feeling supported, not knowing what one's power is. Again, cycle of life. This is what I'm saying, the cycle of life, because it's family karma, but it's not supposed to be a cycle of life. When we're born into family karma, it means that we are inheriting generational trauma and the behaviorisms and habits that go along with it. Again, greedy. And so again, feeling like one doesn't have enough. So maybe again, you wind up attracting people that only consider themselves. And so they come across greedy in the fact of just Emotionally, they won't give anything. Their heart is closed. They focus more on money. They focus more on the physical realm. So passion instead of deep emotional connection, which is why you feel inferior. So you're connected to someone, which leaves you stuck in reliving the same karmic theme, which is what you were born into. Vanity, yeah. So that person that you're connected to, like, really has a big ego. They really, again, think that they are the cat's meow, per se. They think that they are this shit, and that, again, they can fake it well. And a lot of times, a person that has a big ego comes across confident. If you're not healed, you will perceive that person as if they are confident, and because they are triggering you to feel not not good enough. If we feel inferior, it's because we are on some level feeling that I don't have enough, I'm not good enough. And that really is a root chakra imbalance. It makes us not be in the moment. It makes us be up in our mind. It makes us live and react more from an emotional standpoint instead of from the now. Only in the now do you get divine guidance. That's when your gut, your intuition, your inner knowing is going to be able to lead to set appropriate boundaries. But if you don't feel good enough because someone's very intimidating, because they're malicious and they, again, are only considered themselves, and you're just trying to navigate your relationship through being like, I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated, then without boundaries, you're going to stay stuck in inferior and stay stuck in this cycle. So again, what we would need to do is heal the spiritual block first. And that would be also by removing ourselves from this connection, again, because you're not going to be able to evolve and move forward. But we also know that the only reason why you would be connected to someone like this, Leo, is because it's a soul relationship. There's an emotional connection. So we would say that this might be a trauma bond. This could be a past life relationship. This is a past life relationship, but it could also very well be a trauma bond relationship, which we're going to take a look and see. Savior, see? Like, again, when we are in a narcissistic and empath relationship, a codependent relationship, because someone makes us feel inferior, so we're giving all our emotional energy, what happens is we take the part of becoming the savior, the fixer, the healer. This is where the unhealed healer winds up taking the same behaviorisms that were survival based in growing up, and survival is emotional survival, into our relationships as we grow older. And these relationships, a lot of times this behavior doesn't just come out in our intimate relationship with a partner, but with friends, with just people, because we don't have boundaries. If we feel inferior, we're always going to give too much of ourselves. So unconsciously, we're teaching the person that we're with that we're not worthy. Out of time, out of tune, in your own world. Okay, so like, again, your person is like deliberately like in their own world. They're like acting like a rebel without a cause, because remember, they're trying to make you feel inferior. They're deliberately doing that. If I'm not giving you any attention and emotionally you are expecting me to give it, right? If I'm dating you, then I'm deliberately doing it. It's very passive aggressive behavior. It's gaslighting. It's manipulative. So your person is malicious because of that. They're malicious because they're like a rebel without a cause. But understand what their wound is that they have fear of abandonment, because it says here you don't have to be alone. So your person is deliberately like sabotaging this connection, or they doing it because they want to. It doesn't really matter in this instance, just so that you know, but it's because of their trauma, their wound. And why I say it doesn't matter is if you're going to get the same result from a person that means it or a person that doesn't mean it, you might as well not be with them, because the result is the same. The person needs to heal. Otherwise, they are going to bleed all over you, meaning they're already wounded. They're coming into the relationship wounded, and what they're doing is they're bleeding all over you, which is awakening your wound. But they're purposely doing it. They are fulfilling a self-fulfilling prophecy, where unconsciously they believe that they're not lovable. Again, in their own world, they again, on some level, think that they need to be alone. So here you are, Leo, you're connected to someone that emotionally can't give to you because they have a lot of wounds from past relationships. But what is the spiritual lesson for you? The spiritual lesson is, I don't need to be a savior. I need to save myself. I need to love myself enough that I don't need to go on a rescue mission. That's really what it means. Let's see what the triggers are. And I'm going to look and see what your person's triggers are too, because a lot of times you might say, this relationship started off great. Why does it look like shit now? It looks like shit because, again, they got triggered, and the trigger made them behave in this way, where they, again, reverted back to the way that they were as a traumatized person that went through that original relationship. And that original relationship could have happened growing up for them. Didn't necessarily mean that is their past relationships. However, what this does mean is that every single relationship has manifested in the same way because they've never healed it. So they would repeat the same negative self-fulfilling prophecy of believing that they're not deserving of love, because that's why they're the rebel without a cause. That's why they're malicious. That's why it's, again, they're coming across very greedy, and again, only caring about themselves, because they don't believe that they need to be loved. And on some level, you don't either if you are trying to be the savior. So again, like goes to like. You're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So that doesn't mean that you're a malicious. It means that on a deep level, you don't believe that you can really have the love that you desire without compromising yourself. And this person doesn't believe that they can be loved. That's why they never allow anyone to love them. So again, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. Remember that. And so here we are, judged. And now this is a problem too with someone that's wounded, that every time you're going to say something to them to try and set a boundary, they feel judged. So it's, again, you're telling me because I don't like myself. This is your person. I don't like myself. So anything that you say to me, I'm going to feel like you're judging me. I felt my thoughts, feelings, and emotions were being judged by you. And then this is the mirroring energy, because now they're making you feel as if by saying something that you're wrong, and they're judging you because they're saying you're not just letting me be me. You just don't love me for me, when that's manipulative. And again, they're being avoidant. So they judge. That's the way that they close down. And the more times that you try and say something, the more times that they act like this. If you're going to stay with this person, eventually you're not going to say anything at all, which is what they try to do, which is, again, malicious, meaning I don't really care what your feelings are. I care what my feelings are. And that's, again, this uneven energy. This, again, one person's a savior, one person's not doing enough. X factor. I felt threatened like a child. When you scold me, I lash out for being scolded. This is them, because it's, again, I like not even doing anything, but however, you're going to say something, I'm hearing it through the filter of my wounded self. So every single person that ever said anything, again, I felt like a child, threatened, like when you scolded me, like, were you even scolding them? Or were you just trying to set a boundary? I also kind of feel like after a while, Leo, when you try to stay in a relationship like this, because you're getting a lot of different mixed messages, the person has feelings on some level, but they have all these wounds inside them, and you're trying to tell them something and they're not listening. They're being malicious and deliberately ignoring it because their ego is so big. As a protective force, you would yell at them. You would get overly emotional because it was triggering you. However, now you're in a power struggle where this is what a trauma bond is. Now you're bonded to a person that is making you relive that trauma of feeling not good enough, not accepted, not loved, identifying love with pain, being the fixer, again, the savior, in order to make the relationship actually work, and then always being judged for it. And then being manipulated, saying, oh, well, everything that I do isn't good enough. And then because you're asking for them to be a partner, that you would get emotional. And then they would use that against you. Meaning now you're yelling at me, you're judging me, you're scolding me, you're controlling me. That's how a wound plays out. It's not that that's not happening. You're trying to set boundaries, but it's amplified, and it gives them a reason why they can, again, not really give you that much, which is what the problem is. If you're feeling inferior, it's like, I don't feel good enough. You're not giving me what I need. And I also feel as if this X factor also is that your person felt like you were yelling at them and treating them like a child. And I feel like they made you feel like a child. It brought you back to a time where you would try and express your feelings, or you weren't maybe allowed to, and that person and whoever shut them down, or that you just weren't allowed to express your feelings. So again, in the fact that here you were, that person is twisting it and manipulating it. So in a situation like this, we would have to actually leave, because that person is, again, committed to having their way. And if you're going to yell and try and convince where to the fact that they feel judged, then again, that's time to leave, because the person, again, is already committed to not giving you what emotionally you need. Now, does that mean that they don't care about you? No, that means that they're not capable a lot of times. And so it's not about love. However, if you're in a soulmate, twin flame relationship where the person was giving you everything, but you still didn't feel complete, well, then again, you might be with someone that handles things more from a mental perspective, where you handle things more from an emotional perspective. And the divine connection is to learn balance. This is not that. This is definitely not that. This is, I'm not getting what I need. This is a trauma bond connection. Yeah, to learn higher consciousness, which is unconditional love. So you can have unconditional love for this person. And unconditional love is, a lot of times, is painful love. We have unconditional love for our parents, even when our parents don't deserve it. And I know this firsthand because my mother tried to kill me several times. My father had cancer over 8 times. He was an alcoholic. But I knew on some level they loved me unconditionally. And even though my mother did that, again, she was spiritually imbalanced. Again, when we don't heal trauma and we keep reliving the same karmic experiences, the behaviorisms and habits that manifest from that, that person isn't themselves anymore. They've become their behaviorisms. So in this factor, in order to heal both parties, a trauma bond is for that, is to learn higher consciousness. So first, this is what unconditional love is. You can have unconditional love for someone that creates a lot of pain for you. Excuse me. Because unconditional love, we have no expectations. There is no ownership. It just is. So we learn that. But we also have to learn love ourselves. We have to learn to be able to be compassionate. We have to learn how to let go. We need to learn how to persevere. We need to learn all the different levels of consciousness that help us evolve into this higher states of consciousness, which is unconditional love. So even though this relationship is bringing a lot of pain, it's because you're coming from a low vibration, because your consciousness is low, where you're not feeling that you're deserving of love on some level because you're connected to this person. And this person also feels that they're not deserving of love because they're not letting you in. So even though we don't like it, it's for our own good. Raising your standards, raising your vibration, pretty much, that you're deserving. And that's why I knew. So even though it's painful, listen, it sucks when you fall in love with someone that doesn't treat you well. Remember, we don't know everything about a person. It takes time. People show you what they want to show you. So we would definitely have to pace ourselves in a relationship. Because if you have this wound and you don't integrate it, you are going to just repeat it in your next relationship because you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So we would first have to heal this. And we would do that by raising our standards, but also by raising our consciousness first. We'd have to do that by first raising our consciousness first, by becoming unconditional love, by doing what we love. And that would help us raise our standards, because you can tell the difference between someone that's breadcrumbing you, that's not giving you anything, that doing a song and dance with their toxic behavior of not giving anything and, you know, making you feel inferior, deliberately making you feel bad. And then when you do say something, they judge it, they twist it around. It's like a no-win situation. So again, we would have no opportunity to do anything else, because you would always be stuck in this craziness, because this person will not let it evolve. And in that, you stay stuck. Magnetism, like, understand your power. Understand, again, you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And this relationship is, again, past life. It's very strong. There's a lot of like sexual chemistry. There's a lot of, again, magnetism towards each other. You're a magnet. So understand you're able to pull that of what needs to be healed. But in this case, it can work again against you if you don't know, because it's, again, it's so captivating. And you feel that unconditional love, that familiarity of a past life karmic, that it is magnetizing. It is like you will draw to each other like a magnet. So you really have to know what the spiritual issues are to say, because this is not, I need to think in here, or even logically, because logically your mind will always want to revert back to what feels like home, what feels like love. Again, the survival part of your mind, the reptilian part of your mind, doesn't know the difference between emotional comfort and physical comfort. It's survival, you know. It's so it's going to revert back until you replace this person, because that's why people say, why am I still thinking about this person when they didn't even treat me well? Because at one time they did. So your brain wants to go back to that place. So the only way you can heal it is by becoming yourself. And by, again, raising your consciousness. We can't raise our consciousness until we invest in ourselves. Because really, you're only having a relationship with yourself and God, the universe, because God is the universe. So you're only having a relationship mainly with yourself. Everyone that's coming to you is teaching you, is helping you evolve, even the people that we don't like. Again, and so it's all about respect, because it's not that that's really, in the end of the day, what a soulmate, karmic mate doesn't do. It's not that the person doesn't love. They do, but their level of love and what they think love is not what love is. It's usually passion. It's usually very selfish. And love, unconditional love is not that. Unconditional love is, again, loving what hurts sometimes, like a mother or a father that's not really there, that can't give you what you need, but there's still this connection, or somebody that doesn't know how to love, but you still love them and you can't help it. So this isn't that. You want the love that you get the respect too. And that's going to be someone that doesn't make you feel small, and that, or gives you so small. It's in order to keep you small. Flow. Riches flow into my life in many ways and from many different directions. Yes, because if you raise your vibration, right, and you become unconditional love, that's actually the energy of the universe. When you're giving yourself what you love, money has no energy except for the energy you're giving it, and abundance of love is everywhere. So if you're giving yourself love, you become, like, again, within the flow of the universe. You, again, are in alignment with the laws of love, the laws of nature, and the laws of the universe. You have the universe inside of you. You are the universe expressing yourself through consciousness. Your consciousness is what actually manifests within your behaviorisms and your habits. And that is what's going to dictate success, especially in a relationship. So you have to give yourself that love first. I just want to see any more wisdom. And I want to just pull hidden truths, because like I said, sometimes the person really does love, really does care, but not that you're going to be able to heal from that, but you're able to let it go. You're able to not take it personally and say, well, this person does love. This is the way that they love. They're wounded. So this is what it looks like. Only God's love is perfect. You know, our love is not perfect. We tend to put, expectation or again, ownership. If you're with me, you can't, you should treat me different than other people. It's like, well, the people that you're with should respect everyone, including you, Earth. So it's about getting grounded, and know that when we ground, we're not coming from past experiences. A lot of times we get triggered in relationships, and when we're, get triggered, we're not coming from who we are now. We're coming from those past behaviorisms. So what this is asking you to do is to be very grounded when you're in a relationship, because in that moment that you're grounded, you're going to be acting from the right level of consciousness, which is in the now, in the moment, because that's when spirit can guide you. See, everything's a faith walk. When we have wounds, it doesn't mean that we should never enter into another relationship again. How would you heal a wound? How would you change this? How would you integrate it? You can't. You have to date in order to integrate the spiritual lesson, because you have to see yourself differently. You have to ground it. Is that in the earth, right? You need to be in the physical earth, where we've incarnated into the physical world for a reason, to learn and to manifest. You're supposed to be learning that you're all different levels of consciousness, number one. You should be learning to see things from all different layers of consciousness because God is all knowing. You're not separate from God. You're not separate from the universe. However, we tend to have abandonment issues, tend to feel that we're inferior because of this separation. We feel abandonment, we feel small, we feel, again, that's not who we are. It's not about being up in our head to get this psychic awareness. It's to be in the moment, in the now, to lead with your heart, to be in your body. Yes, to tap into your mind logically, but also tap into your heart and your gut. And when they're all in alignment, that's when you're able to, not just to live more from a survival perspective from the mind. No, you have to be in the moment. So that's how you would heal this, because it's, again, it doesn't mean not to date. People then go through a relationship like this, they say, that's it, I'm not going to date anymore. It's not one way or the other, because guess what? When you decide to date again, when someone that sparks your fancy again comes into your life, you're going to want to date. So you would have to go back into the relationship with them, and because you think that you can control love, but you can't. You might put restrictions and try and control it, but you'd lose the relationship if you try to do that, because you're coming from a place of fear. If you're putting all these guidelines and structure, which is what your person's doing, they're putting a lot of, unnecessary obstacles in the way of this relationship, mainly because they don't feel that they're deserving of it. They're just waiting for it to not work out. So we know it's not going to work out, but not because it needs to go that way. It's because they're dead set on making it happen that way. They're fulfilling a self-fulfilling prophecy, which has nothing to do with you. But if you stay sitting there, then obviously you're going to think that, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, there's something wrong with me. It's like, no, that's what you're saying by being connected to this person. So no matter how much you love them, you would have to, again, set a boundary and disconnect from them. That's why it's, again, earth. Be in the moment, be in the now. Ground, be interactive in life. I hide behind material things. So it's, again, your person is emotionally not capable. So, and this is what I said, they come from an ego place. So of course they identify with the car that they drive, the house that they live in, the job that they have, all outside things, but they feel inadequate. So you might have been attracted to them because you saw from the outside that their life looked good, but it's, again, our life is good we're strong from the inside out, because we at any time can lose those material things. More times than not, we do too, if we don't heal this energy, because eventually God says that's not your success. That's not your strength. Your strength is not things. And those things will eventually leave you very empty as well, because you're not going to get the emotional fulfillment from things. So no matter how many things you acquire, you're still not going to feel good about yourself. We will be together again. And I think on some level, like, that doesn't mean that you will be. I think that they think in a way of avoidance. I don't need to look at this because you sat there and you put up with this, and I still feel this soul connection to you, this past life connection to you. I can still tap into you. I feel like we can be together again. But do I see them rushing back to fix it? No. I feel like that's a way of avoidance again, and that's someone that's cocky, that's living more from their ego. I regret lying to you. So I feel like eventually they will feel that. And what if you wanted to be in a relationship with this person, you'd have to disconnect from them totally. And that means cut your psychic energy off, because that soulmate past life connection is still, again, still there, because that spiritual lesson has not been integrated yet. But if you heal, you would see how unequal this energy is, because they didn't give anything, and then there was still a sense of maybe it didn't work out because they did whatever they did, but it's almost like they're acting like the relationship is, it's all up to them, and it's not. It's because, again, how do I know that? Because what we're looking for is respect. This person is only considering themselves. We're going to close it out and just look at what is the karmic lesson. What was the point of this? Or what other spiritual messages would Spirit want us to know from this past life karmic deck? I know in my heart we'll be together one day, and that helps me trust. Let's keep working on us. See, this is what I'm saying. This person is like, really feels like, but they also know that they need to work on themselves. And that is a lot of times the best case scenario, when a person has such a big ego and they were so committed to, only caring about themselves. And then if you walk away, and which I feel like you did, and they didn't want to forgive, they didn't want to work on anything, that now they would be looking back and saying, I really still have a connection to this person. I do regret lying, but I know I have to work on us, because they know that by you walking away, that you're not going to take them back until they showed you something different. That's the issue. It's like they're in a place of, and like it's not all soulmate, twin flames, and past life and karmic mates and all those soul type of relationships are meant to stay together. Sometimes two people come in to come together, and it is divine, but it's divine for the purpose of healing and evolution. And that's what I see here. Now, Leo, if you resonated with this video, let me know. Give me a like. Definitely subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to enter into winning a free psychic reading with me, again, the word of the day is going to be compassion. All right, put that in your comment bar. You'll know if you were chosen if I wrote the word winner underneath your word. You better stick around, again, because the word may be changing, because I'm going to do another video soon, and I'm having a feeling like I'm going to pick another word. So, or I might give away an oracle deck, or an oracle book, or an affirmation deck. So you definitely want to subscribe to the channel to see what giveaways I'm going to be giving. All right, I'll talk to you all soon. Oh, and definitely check out my subscriptions. If you want to do some deep healing work, you want to heal your shadow, you want to integrate, you want to turn your wounds into power, you want to turn your fear into fire, you need help in manifesting the life and life experiences that you want to have, this is definitely the channel that you want. Check out the subscriptions, reasonable. It's, again, every day we're going to be doing shadow work, and you can jump on as many times as I'm on, and before you know it, you could be helping people too. All right, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.